you gonna have some heads turned. I'm gonna say that much. Some people will see it as impactful, and some people will be disgusted by it for sure.
Malik's been promoted to key grip, and Keith's been demoted to driver.
No, it's actually laborer.
Yeah.
Oh, labor.
What is it like? Was it clothing labor?
But to be fair, on the call sheet today, I work in wardrobe and Katie works in a grip department. So
She's grip department. What am I?
yeah.
Well,
You're
there's.
key grip. She's just laborer.
Oh.
How are you gonna make that skull look real?
Oh, we're not. They're shooting from this direction.
Oh, it looks real to me.
Preston, he's kicked
This is. Wow.
Joke's on you, we're filming a CSI episode.
Oh no, are we really?
Oh no! Now it has to be a sex crime too.
Oh no! Gross!
I said CSI, not SVU.
They're all sex crimes.
Okay, so my name is Katie Rutkowski. I am a licensed cosmetologist in Birmingham, Alabama, and I started doing special effects makeup about 5 years ago, which is what I'm doing for this film. And Steve Moon brought me onto the project, and he called me up one day, said I need somebody to do some really gory special effects, and are you up for it? And I said absolutely, so here I am with you guys.
Great. How's it been so far?
It's been pretty wonderful. The cast has been great to work with. I've met a lot of new people that I've just made great connections with. I never imagined coming on that I would make so many new friends. So we've all become like a family.
What's been some of the work that you've had to do being the special effects artist?
So I had to make a scar over, I think it was Scout's character's eye. I had to do that. And I've had to do some whiplashes and rope burns. So those have been pretty hard scenes to do. It's a very emotional thing for everybody involved. So, I mean, we can shoot a wide, we can shoot, however you want. I just don't want to get blood on that shirt because it's JT's shirt, so.
What's production been like for the last 2.5 weeks?
Well, I think I'm a little bit more involved than just the makeup artist. I've assisted with stunts. I've assisted with being the armor. They've kept me incredibly busy, so I do feel very involved in this film, and I do feel very passionate about what we're doing here.
How do you like the locations?
I love the locations. I think the Auburn Antebellum was my favorite. It was just a beautiful house, a beautiful setup. Just seeing the history is, in a way, incredible. It's heartbreaking, but incredible, if that makes any sense. Like seeing how the history has been preserved.
All
right, look at the camera for me. Andrew, is that better? Oh, I was getting you to look at the monitor.
I'm Malik Banks. I'm driver and key grip. So.
How did you get on the project?
Through Steve Moon and Jen. I met them a few years ago and been working with them ever since. And they said they needed somebody else for this shoot. And I was like, let me move some things around because I got another job. And I was able to work it out. And here I am.
I'm going to get a U-Haul.
For what?
For what?
Yeah.
For G&E equipment. So we have a company move today. And we need to have a big truck that we can look overnight to put all the equipment in. We'll load it in tonight and park it at the new location, and then we'll load it out in the morning.
You bringing this guy for protection?
I protect that guy.
Damn right she does.
Yeah, makes sense. Weak ass. So take me through a day on set for Malik Banks.
Man, waking up in the morning, depending on the call time, like if it's a 6:30 call time, I'm up by like 5:15, 5:30, going out to warm up my car, eat, get everything prepared, like put 3 layers of clothes on, 3 layers of socks on, make sure I got my boots on, because gotta have the boots on set because you never know. Like I said, since I'm doing grip stuff, we have a system in the morning between me, Keith, and Michael. We all basically know what to do. If one of us is getting the ballast and the stingers, the other one's preparing C-stands and whatnot.
Go work! You gotta get this drop up for free.
what do you think audiences are going to get out of the Jones Plantation once they've seen it?
You gonna have some heads turned, I'm gonna say that much. Some people will see it as impactful. Some people will pick up on allegory for sure. And some people will be disgusted by it for sure. No question about it. I don't wanna say it'll be like a cult classic film, but it'll be like one of those films like it'll be used in discussions. In the words of the late great Paul Robertson, I'll do anything for love, but I won't do that.
Steve Moon, executive in charge of production.
Mississippi, that's matches, rhymes with matches. We're making a movie here.
So what's your role? Like, what's a day-to-day thing that you do on set during production?
This production?
Yeah, of the Jones Plantation.
Yeah, on the Jones Plantation. Basically, just try to keep everything on schedule, keep the talent happy, make sure that the behind the scenes are going well, making sure that we're making our days, making sure that props are in order, working with wardrobe, special effects, making sure that they're ready on time so that when the director calls for certain things, that those are ready.
So take one. Settle. Settle. Pictures up.
So I think production's going great, going very smooth.
So when we move this light, and when we turn it on, let me show you what it does. All we do is disconnect it and move it.
Whenever I just turned that on, there was a shot.
Turn it off.
What do you think of the film so far?
Again, absolutely love it. I love period pieces. And this, one of the challenges obviously is there is a race factor. Not a racial factor, but there's a race factor. And I mean, this is part of history. Did this really happen?
Jen Miller-Michelani, and I am the UPM, which is the Unit Production Manager of Jones Plantation. So Andrew reached out to Steve Moon, who is my producing partner at home in Alabama, and they discussed what Steve was going to come on as, and he called me up and told me about the show and said that he had talked to Andrew about me, and a couple weeks later Andrew called and brought me on.
Yeah. What did Malik steal?
Sure.
My heart.
Wait, why are we?
What's the day-to-day job, activity, responsibility for the unit production manager on the Jones Plantation?
Part of it is just making sure people are there on time and ready to go. Making sure cast is there on time because, as Jen also is picking up cast and making sure that they get to set and things like that. And when people aren't there and pulling their weight, it makes a big difference. So keeping set running and everything going at the right speed is a big challenge. Doug is doing a really good job keeping everything on schedule.
Have you worked with Doug before?
I have not. This is the first time we worked together.
Okay.
But he's doing very good with making sure that things are done the way they're supposed to, and keeping people on schedule, and making the phone call of where are you if that's what needs to be done. And that has been the biggest challenge, in my opinion, is to just make sure that everybody's there and on time and ready to go.
Based on what you've been doing just on set, have you been able to kind of see the film develop, and what do you think about it?
I have. Of course, I read the script, so I knew what was coming and what to look for. I think it's a really good story. So the script really made me think. It put me in a position of trying to figure out, is what I do every day in my own life what I should be doing, instead of what somebody's telling me to do. Like, am I leading my life or am I following someone else? It's also going to be entertaining. The way the characters have developed is interesting. And like I said, it's entertaining to see. Mr. Jones is a bit over the top from what I expected him to be, which I like. I love the way he adopted his character. Mr. Smith is charismatic most of the time. There are times that he's a bit more subdued. Mr. Johnson is definitely an interesting character with a little bit of a smaller part, but he's still bringing it to the set every day and doing what he needs to do. So I think it's going to turn out really well.
My name's Douglas Mize. I'm first AD on the Jones Plantation film. So Andrew and I were working on a documentary in Acapulco, Mexico. Well, we flew down there to start putting this documentary together, and got part way through it. We interviewed a bunch of different people, and one of the persons there was Larkin Rose. And I didn't know anything about Larkin. And he's like, oh, what do you mean, you know? And so what he did is he showed me the short film that someone had put it together for Larkin, which was the story he wrote, The Jones Plantation. And you can find it on YouTube. And we went through it, and I'm like, oh, okay, I get the premise of this. This is amazing. And we're like, you know, this would be cool if it was a feature. And actually, that was more Andrew's idea. I was thinking animation myself. I was like, because I was getting heavily involved in animation, working with a couple houses out of London. And I was just like, man, if we get enough budget for this, you know, and then we was like, no, screw it. We'll just make a feature out of it. What happens at Larkin had just moved to Phoenix, Arizona, and that's where Andrew and I live. And so we connected up with Larkin and just got the ball rolling of rewriting this for a film. And that's really where everything started.
How's production been so far?
Oh, it's fantastic, you know. You know that's a lie. Every production you go on, it always has its challenges. And some of the challenges that we've been running into is electrical. We've been working in these older houses, and they just don't have the electrical. And we're on a tight budget, so just working with the gear that we have and the crew that we have, that's some of the challenges. We went out to Frogmore. I think this last week was a very tough week for everyone. Really cold weather. When we first came out here, we were up in the 70s, and then all of a sudden it snapped down to the 20s. And we're on this plantation, and it's kind of like a tour plantation now, but it used to be a real cotton plantation, and we came out, and they still make cotton there, but they have the old buildings, and just the wiring is not up to code on everything, and you're worried about how much power that you can actually draw. So we're like stringing things out to different parts of different buildings throughout the location just to make sure that we have power for our lights. And the cold aspect of just walking outside and freezing. So when we went on the location, we decided to change all our exterior scenes to an interior one with a church that they have on this plantation. And it actually turned out really cool in that regard, but it was still cold. They don't have insulation. And we had this little heater, and we can't run the heater when we're, you know, doing the takes because of the sound. And it's been a challenge, you know, just trying to stay warm. And when it drops down to the 20s and everything's frozen, we're like, what do we do?
What's the difference between the Jones Plantation and, say, any other films that's been made recently that's set in antiquity?
The difference is that, well, when you watch the film, you're going to be surprised about the ending. And it's not your typical feel-good movie. It's more of one that hopefully it comes across this way, is that it's one that make you think. And what would you do if you were in the position of certain characters in the movie? And I encourage everyone to watch it, and then hopefully it creates a dialogue. And with that dialogue is like, again, self-reflection. What would you do in that situation? And do you think the other people that surround you, your friends, your family, your peers, would they be on board with your thought pattern, or would they sit in the sidelines?
Now
keep moving. I go left. Let's go left.
So we're going for a bit.
All right. So we're gonna just do a pan back and forth.
Yeah.